Assassin's Creed Shadows is the biggest gaming disaster in the last 20 years. Peaking with only 60,000 peak players on Steam. Out of the top 50 most played Xbox games in less than 24 hours after release. And, well, honestly, who said Ubisoft does not have it in them to do something great? Because this accomplishment is truly unprecedented. And other than that, of the obvious disaster, the game itself is absolutely horrible, obviously. It has stealth mechanics that are barely better than Star Wars Outlaws. Maybe you can't just crouch in a brush and become invisible and invulnerable, but in some certain situations, you can literally crouch next to a wall where someone's looking at you and there's nothing in front of their line of sight, and they will just suddenly not see you anymore because, I mean, you're hiding, right? Then that makes sense. Yasuke is not even playable as a character most of the time. It's completely dull, boring, and stupid. And the femboy-looking twink woman, Naue, is a complete lost cause, and the writing is horrible. I mean, the writing of this game is literally, Isuke proceeds to kill everyone Naue loves. She confronts him and says, "Hey, bro, you kind of killed all my fam. And he's like, "Oh, shit, true, my bad, sorry." And she's like, "Okay, want to team up? For sure." That's pretty much the extent of story writing here. It's amazing. It's truly amazing.
Assassin's Creed Shadows has one of the worst monetization systems that I have seen in a long time. It exists exclusively to confuse people, to frustrate them, and to guide them down a path where the solution to any of your problems is to spend money. It has all of the hallmarks of an incredibly dangerous monetization system.
That's what you expect from a company that's literally going bankrupt in probably the next 3 weeks.
From multiple different currencies and different tracks to progress through that can confuse you as to what you're actually spending on, and to obfuscate the value of what you are actually buying, something that the European Union just made illegal, by the way. It offers outright pay-to-win services, including actual levels on your skill tree, as well as pay-to-convenience by saving you time. Something that the game, by the way, wants to waste a lot of. And this isn't the review of the game, I'm still working on it, but I wanted to talk about this separately. And all of these systems...
Like, the game is a disaster. It's boring, it's bland, it's just not there.
...that they are putting in place with this game are what Ubisoft intends.
Oh, also, by the way, it's probably gonna get patched, but if you haven't seen it, there's currently clips of people figuring out that, wait a minute, if you just go prone in this game, you are invulnerable to 99% of attacks, because Ubisoft forgot to code enemies to attack downwards. So, almost all, except some very special opponents, cannot hit you because they are always aiming at your waist. But if you're prone to the ground, your waist is on the ground, so they're constantly hitting air, which is hilarious.
To have work in their new Animus Hub, their kind of central platform for all things Assassin's Creed moving forward, including the many projects that they have around the franchise, including the Assassin's Creed 4 remake, Assassin's Creed Hexa, the one about witches set in Germany, and the upcoming Assassin's Creed multiplayer game. And while a lot of the stuff here is not particularly new for Ubisoft, the fact that in this age where they are desperate to survive, in this age where customers are fighting against these sorts of practices more and more, and specifically because of how these monetization systems affect Assassin's Creed Shadows, this is really bad. There's quite a lot.
Wait, there is one thing theoretically that people are saying good about this game, and it's the fact that the vistas and a lot of things in this game look good. Which is kind of true, but then at some point it gets really boring considering leaves are constantly falling on you, even though there's no leaves nearby or anything like that. you know, it kind of also gets boring. And again, when your best thing that you can say about the game is, oh, it looks pretty, you fucked up.
Going on here, and in this video we're going to cover three main things. One, what the monetization system actually is, in all fairness, no exaggeration of making it look worse than it is, because it really doesn't need it. Why this monetization is designed to be as predatory as possible. Let's not forget that Ubisoft is a company that employs people with titles like monetization director. And third, and probably the most important thing, is how this interacts and affects the game itself, and makes me highly suspicious of a lot of the things in the game.
My favorite part about Ubisoft currently is the fact that they have assembled a strike force team to try and intimidate people with lawsuits if they say anything bad about the developers, which is literally the prime way of telling that this company is shit. Because it's so woke, it literally has assembled a bunch of lawyers to try and intimidate people if they talk bad about the devs. Which, by the way, should honestly happen, because the reason that they're doing this is probably because if you look at the dev list, and I haven't, this is speculation currently, I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot of people who probably have pink hair at the minimum, okay? Visible problems, okay? That's probably what's happening here.
This is precisely the sort of thing that should not exist in gaming, and how that is all happening in a game that I and many other people paid $70 for. So hi, I'm Mug.
Get a refund, buddy.
And if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. Today's video has me a bit angry. And don't worry if it makes you angry, because you're still gonna look great even when you're angry, alright? So look, I normally ask you guys that if you enjoy the video, hit the like button, yada yada yada, helps the channel grow, because that's true. But
I don't, but you should, otherwise I experience pain.
Today I want you to also, if possible, share this video, because I really think that what we're going to talk about here is stuff that we all benefit from, the more that we are informed. We can only fight against things if we know precisely what they are and how they work. Now, as I said before, I will not be giving my actual review of the game. Part of the reason I'm making this video is because I don't want to spend 20 minutes talking about monetization in a review. I think that does a disservice to everything else in the game, and it does a disservice to the important...
God, I love these assassinations. Like, what just happened here?
I think that does a
What? Well, this is a lot better theoretically than the kidney stab.
Service to everything else in the game, and it does a disservice to the importance of monetization to have it be buried in a review or something. So if you want to hear my review of the game itself, that'll be coming very shortly.
By the way, the gun that guy was carrying on his back, blatantly, visibly flying in the air.
But we will be talking about some parts of the game to better understand how insidious some of these monetization systems are. So let's begin explaining all of them. So for starters, the game itself features a store. This has been a common thing that all of the recent Assassin's Creed games have had. And in this store, you can buy different armor and different weapons, different mounts, and in the case of this game, different...
Is that a fucking Kelpie, by the way? Hutto Seamount. Yeah, that's a
different mounts, and in the case of this game, different additional decorations for your hideout as well as outfits for your allies. This is pretty standard fare, but that doesn't make it good, by the way. All of the stuff in the store scales to your level the moment that you buy it. So you're not technically paying for power, but you are paying for items that are stronger than anything.
Nah, this is pay to win blatantly, in my opinion.
That you could really get at that point in the game. All very convenient, and mostly I assume people would buy it for the aesthetics because they look cool. Just funny because you can't use those weapons that you pay for as a visual customization option. At least the outfits are transmog, if I am not mistaken, so at least there's that. Now there's a whole host of problems with this of the usual variety, and more important to me at least is that a lot of these crazier, wacky outfits that are way more out there than a lot of the stuff that I've seen in the game so far, which there is a bit of wackiness in it. But you know, flaming weapons and stuff are not super hidden, secret, cool things that you get for completing every challenge in the game.
Yeah, true, but I mean, you are You are playing an Ubisoft game.
For completing every type of one side quest, you get a cool armor for one of the characters. No, those things are now relegated to the shop where you can pay $18. $18 for a pack for one of the characters for one outfit with a weapon, or $23 for the same theme, but for both characters. So think of just how much value you're getting. Now, at the very bottom of the store, there's something really important. There is the convenience store, basically. There is the utility shop, where you can buy actual in-game currency to spend on the different things in the game, which would, as we will see in the third part of the video, or, you know, you can use timestamps, but I think that everything here is pretty valuable, but you can translate that in-game currency into time-saving.
Wait. Is feudal Japan's money called mon? Or is this just, or did they just not even care enough to write money? Because that would be a negative association with the fact that you're spending money.
And a lot of convenience, as well as for $10 the ability to unlock the map and see where everything in the game is, which
wow, that is I think this was in the other games also.
Again, a lot,
not that it makes it good or whatever, but it was
a lot of convenience, because the game has a ton of bloat. You would be directly paying to save time and get faster to the best parts of the game, or the good parts of it rather. But more on that later. For now, let's talk about the multiple currencies.
I do often rate a game how good is it by the idea that people need to tell me what the good parts of the game are. Because if someone needs to do that, obviously the game's shit. Remember when people were like, oh no, Starfield's a great game, bro. You just need to be on New Game plus 225 and have sunk 500 hours into the game. But it gets good then, bro. Trust me. This is also tiresome, isn't it, honestly?
In the battle pass, yeah, the single player battle pass. Now, the store itself features all of the usual highlights that we see from things like free-to-play games and how they want to manipulate the customer, including obfuscating currencies, because you can only buy Helix credits in packs, which give you a certain amount of credits so that then you can like end up at odd numbers, for example. However, that is not the only way to get this. It's also not the only way to get some of these items, because there is a free way of obtaining them, which might sound like a good thing on paper until we get into it. And I suspect that this is the part of this that a lot of people are going to ignore, and I think that it's really important to talk about it because it is just as dangerous as the other just having a store part. Assassin's Creed Shadows introduces projects, something that they have talked about extensively when discussing the Animus Hub, something that I have been talking about as a nightmare hellscape of a live service for single-player games for 7 months now. Gets exhausting. Projects.
I have no idea what that is, because I will kill myself before playing an Ubisoft title.
Are basically battle passes for this single-player game.
Also, I don't know if he's going to talk about it. It doesn't seem like he's going to talk about it. But Ubisoft is a prime example of what I hate in gaming, and I call it the Diablo 4 problem, or the Blizzard Diablo problem. Honestly, you know what's amazing about Blizzard and Diablo? How they have fucked it up, and they have introduced systems that are overall completely flawed from beginning to end. And one of those flawed systems is something that permeates other games nowadays, and that is itemization. That every item in every single fucking game has an eye level attached to it. AKA, you know, you can get a legendary sword at level 20, but that legendary sword is going to be, in a lot of cases, worse than a level 22 basic white sword, because that's how eye levels work. And Assassin's Creed Shadows is literally the same. If you get a legendary sword and you're level 10, congratulations, buddy. You're replacing that shit in 5 minutes with a basic white bitch. Sword, not person. Well, woman in this case. You know.
which over time they are going to introduce more of. And in these battle passes, you can obtain a number of different things. From exchange credits, not the same as the Helix credits from before, different currency for a different store, to items and
the more currencies you have, the more detached the player becomes to them. So the easier it is to spend them. And these games don't want you buying. This is the trick. This is what a lot of people don't understand about the psychology behind all of these things. The point is not to get you spending, actually. The point is to get you, first and foremost, by the way, interacting with the shop. AKA, that's where all the free battle pass shit comes in. And that has a bunch of different things. The most biggest one is the one that I mention constantly, is the cumulative effect. If you have a free battle pass and you play for 200 hours that game, buying that battle pass for $10 becomes just better and better and better and better every hour you play the game, because you just get more rewards. And that is a pro bono pusher to actually spend money on games. That one actually works really well. But again, the point is not to make you buy stuff. The point is to make you interact with the shop, aka giving you free credits and teaching you that spending money in the shop, is it free, is it not free? The lines are blurry, right? Because this is not real money. This gold piece of shit, that's not real money. This cube-looking fuck thing, that's not... Who knows what this is? Is that 10 cents? Is that $20? Who knows? Who knows? And they just teach you that spending these things is good. And when you start spending money in the shop, well, you're gonna start buying stuff in the shop. Again, all the shops are not made to make you buy things first. They're designed to entice you by step. That's how they really work.
Weapons and armor and all sorts of stuff for the game. And at least the ones that are here right now are exclusive to these projects. And these projects are not something that you can pay to advance yet. Instead, they come with weekly missions that you can complete in order to progress through the passes and obtain all of these things. And we also know that there are ways of
shit, weekly missions for a game that people are not going to play more than a day? Ambitious.
Obtaining some of those premium credits through some challenges in the game and through stuff regarding UB Connect and achievements there and stuff like that. So you can complete this battle pass by doing your weekly missions in the game, in the single player game, to progress through it and get different items, as well as receive currency for the exchange. In the exchange, in a rotating shop that changes weekly and daily, you can pay with this other currency to obtain weapons and armor.
Oh, damn, daily? That's a lot of FOMO.
And a lot of stuff that is also in that Helix credit, just straight up money shop. This technically allows players that want to play every week and do these missions to accumulate some additional gear and stuff in the game and enough exchange credits to get maybe an armor or a weapon that they really like from the paid part of the game, but for free in the $70 game. Remember that. Now, I know for a fact that some people will say, well, but that's good. It's good that there's like this option to get this stuff for free. It's not that different from earning it in game, right? You're technically doing challenges in the game and then getting.
If that's your opinion, Evan, you already lost, my friend. You already sadly lost. Your will was not of the samurai. Your will was of the George Floyd. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Getting some cool stuff for it. Isn't that what you were talking about earlier? First of all, no, completely different, because the value of these things now has to be measured against their real.
Now these are now this is some good interaction right there, bruh.
Price in money, and it's gated by weekly playtime in order to come.
What the fuck is this? What is this game? Oh, look at what are these interactions? Somewhat. What the hell? GTA 2 had better NPC actions.
Complete a battle pass, and that's, you know,
She just jumps in the water, bro's like, I'm fucking chilling, yeah?
Ignoring the fact that this is a full price game, okay? But this is where the system is so disgusting. This is the trick. This is the secret. And even though what I'm about to talk about might seem obvious to some, I also want to say that I have consulted with 2 behavioral psychologists regarding this to really categorize
None of them were me, which is a huge fucking mistake.
how insidious it is and what the goal of it is, okay? So hey, let's set the stage. We know about the 2 monetization systems. One of them, you just pump money directly into.
By the way, even if I actually pause the video, look at this shit and think for an hour straight, there's still gonna be things I miss, because behavior psychology is kind of wild in the many ways that you can influence things by a little bit, and that's a lot. Like, the goal is one, but how you get to the goal is there can be many things.
And in the other one, you can earn stuff for free. But that stuff that you earn for free is in exchange for your time, and not just like your time grinding out the game itself. Theoretically, that is possible. You can obtain some of the credits for the exchange in the game in these little floating cubes. They give you 30, by the way, just nothing. But no, they want you to grind every week. They want you to wait for the timer to take over to the next week and then log on and play Assassin's Creed Shadows. And eventually you will.
You know how I always, by the way, can recognize it's going to be a slob game or something is going to be completely shit? It's stats on items. Health, crit chance, adrenaline gain, like a fucking random percent, and restore, like, generic traits for items and generic stats for items. Now, generic stats for items, by the way, are fine-ish, but if I don't see strength, dexterity, vitality, energy, and all of those things separately, it's not going to be an in-depth enough system. It's just not. This is just fluff. This literally might as well be Diablo 3s and 4s, arrow green go up, then you equip it style of thing, because none of this makes a shit of a difference.
And then log on and play Assassin's Creed Shadows. And eventually you will have enough money to get a nice skin or a nice weapon, something you might like, for free. The insidious part about this is that we as humans.
Oh, yeah, this is what I say about the Battle Pass, but again, the Battle Pass is not unique for this concept. It's just my favorite part of this concept that I emphasize in a lot of cases. But the truth is, this concept works for everything. Hey, you're getting free currency to buy this thing, and now you have, like, gotten a half of the currency. And there's a 50% discount to buy the rest of the currency that you need to unlock this thing. That's enticing. I'm guessing just from the words he's using that that's going to be the thing. Let's see if I'm right.
Are always more willing to spend money on things that we spend time on. I've talked about it before.
That is very, I mean, psychology. It's complicated, but yes, that is what I said, but in a very, very different and kind of overarching way of saying this, but that's the same thing. Yes, it's always the same.
Or with the same analogy. Let's say that you get into tennis. You start playing tennis, you get some decent
Yay! Except tennis girls, because anyway, pickleball. I just found out what pickleball is like a month ago. It's like tennis, but for people who are incapable.
shoes.
Hilarious.
You get, like, the most basic racket that you can get. You buy.
It's America's #1 upcoming sport, by the way, because obviously
some balls. You go out there. Maybe you sign up to classes, or maybe you go with some friends and you play tennis. Suddenly, you play more tennis. You're playing more and more every week. You're dedicating 3-4 hours per week of your free time to playing tennis, and it's one of the things in your life that you really enjoy. It becomes a routine. You do it all the time. Suddenly you're sucking dick in the locker room. It just happens.
miracle, actually.
of spending upwards of $300 or $400 on tennis.
Okay, I'm joking. Tennis is kind of cool, actually. All sports are very cool if you play them yourself, by the way. There is no such thing as a sport that is bad if you play it, unless you completely don't know how to play it. And tennis actually is kind of a great sport in the sense that learning it doesn't require that much time. Becoming actually good at it, anything is like actually hard, but you know, tennis is something that you can kind of pick up, just fuck around, and you're gonna feel good about your life.
Equipment, which seemed stupid before, now seems like a great investment. You're very much willing to spend that money because of the joy that tennis brings you. And
yeah, this is similar when you hire a prostitute and then you unlock then you understand the fact that just like in GTA, you can get your money back. That's a joke, YouTube.
more importantly, how much time it takes up in your life. There's this very basic thinking in our heads of like, why would I not spend money on something when it's like the only thing I do? And I've known plenty of people, and I'm sure you do too, that have been like, why wouldn't I buy this skin in this game when it's the only game I play and it makes me happy?
Oh, he's actually now talking a little bit further than that effect, but this is also something I mentioned. I usually mention the overlying arcing things that can be broken down into smaller things, but now he's just talking about the fact the longer you play something, the more likely you are to buy stuff. That's his whole point, by the way. It's exactly how it sounds. This is why, by the way, games want to keep you playing no matter what. This is why every game has a daily login reward. This is why every game has, like, do this shit and blah, blah, blah. It's just to keep you playing. Because with every minute spent, the statistical chance of you buying shit increases.
Right? I'm spending 15 hours a week every night grinding Marvel Rivals. Why wouldn't I buy a skin? What Shadows aims to do by locking some of this cool stuff behind you coming in and playing the game every week is that you create a habit of playing a bit of Assassin's Creed Shadows every week. You log on and you do your missions. Even if you finish the game, you continue to fill out the map and you prioritize doing your weekly missions to progress your battle pass to eventually get one free pay.
Yes. This is effectively just the idea that we like completionist things. In general, every human likes completionist things. There are no exceptions, by the way. If you think you don't like completionist things, you just have not played a game where you try to be a completionist. And the longer you play a game, the more likely you are gonna want to actually like collect all the things and do all the shits. My collection log in Lost Ark was 99.9% pretty much. I was missing 2 Makokos. No, actually 1 Makoko when I stopped playing. And that was in Gazbro, the last room. Gazbro, I think it's pronounced. Last room. Never going to that shithole again, by the way. So that Makoko was lost forever. And what was I missing else? I had all the island cells. You know, completionist shit is amazing because you can literally just... That's something you can flaunt in front of everyone. Look at my big internet peen.
Aid item. Until you are spending enough time and are making enough of a habit of playing Assassin's Creed Shadows that one item for all that time you took doesn't really seem fair, but you've been playing so much.
You know what I'm surprised about, by the way? Is that game... Well, I shouldn't probably give this away. I should sell this like a fucking idea for Blizzard or whatever. But one of the things that I'm surprised is that people have not figured out that you could easily abuse the completionist thing with the daily rewards by... Okay, so you have, right? So, force people into becoming completionists is a very effective psychological thing in gaming. And one of the easiest things to do this, by the way, and again, if anyone steals this, I'm going to be pretty mad, is make it so that whenever you get your daily quests or weekly quests, you see that there are X amount of daily quests and your progression at them. And, you know, make it at the start it looks red, then it slowly starts to go green, purple, yellow, or whatever fucking rainbow of the color you want. And that's gonna force people to become completionists no matter what. Okay? And that's for a weekly thing that's RNG, which means people are not gonna get it easily. And that should they be great motivation.
So since you've played so much, why don't I just spend $15, $20 on the cosmetic pack that's going to make me happy? If this is really the only game I play, and you hopefully, at least in the case of Ubisoft, this is what they want, is that you forget that you paid $70 for this game, and that it should have all of these sorts of doodads and trinkets and extras in the game, not in a store. The easiest way to make somebody spend money that they shouldn't spend on something is for them to justify it to themselves. Give them the easy way out. Give them the tools that they need.
This is what I never talk about, but it's a part of this.
Need to convince themselves that it's worth it. And there's
because typically games are not going to let you, the moron player, convince yourself of things. They're going to do it for you because that's a little bit more effective.
No better tool for that than just having a person spend more time on it. But this is not even the most insidious part. The most dangerous part is how it potentially affects the actual design of the game. So at the very bottom,
yeah, he's just gonna talk about things being the pay to skip thing. We all probably know. You can just take a little minute and figure this out. But there is literally there is no way to talk about pay to skip as anything other than artificially prolonging things, making things more grindy and whatnot. That's it. That is what pay to skip is. And if you like a game, pay to skip is actually kind of good. Well, not good in good sense, but kind of good at making you buy stuff. Anyway, I feel I'm done. I can't take these psychology lessons that often, but this was good. This was actually kind of on point of what things are happening. Like, anyway, that was Mug Thief. He steals because he can. Anyway, bye bye.